Kairi? Welcome back to another Japan Life reading vlog. You want to say hi? You say hi. So, this is way too tall. Why is this set up like that? I'm going to move you down. That's better. Ignore how weird I sound and how awful I look. I am getting over a cold that was given to me by this one. Everyone in nursery school has had a runny nose for like 2 weeks. And then one day she came home coughing and I was like, oh, I'm going to get that, aren't I? And I did. And as it always is, it's much stronger for me. So she's just had a runny nose and cough sometimes, and I've been down for the count for the last like 24 hours. But Hayato made some delicious and nutritious rice porridge this morning, and then I took my meds and took a nap. So I've got probably, I'm thinking, 3 hours of of energy. So I'm gonna take this one to the library to give Daddy a bit of a break. He's been on, banging on all cylinders while I've been down for the count, so we're gonna give him some time. But speaking of books, we went to the library about 3-4 days ago, and I got this. And I mentioned it in my previous vlog that I wanted to do, I just wasn't feeling complicated books right now because I'm doing a lot of complicated things in my life. lots of red tape processes and insurance stuff and visa stuff, and I don't want to sit down and read something super complicated. So I thought, I saw this in the library and I was like, I loved that. I gave it like 5 stars the first time I read it. Let me read it again. Tell me how I devoured this book in like 2 days. It's what, 600 something pages? It's 668 pages, and I read it so quickly. Now granted, I was sick, so I had more time to read than I would usually have, but that feeling of wanting to read and sit down and get back to the world came back so strong when I was reading this book. Is it the best book in the world? Absolutely not. There were several like scenes where I was like, this makes no sense. Why is this here? Where there would be like, this is an urban fantasy, so they mention real life things, and that's always just a jump scare for me. I'm never ready for it. Like there was one section where the characters just started talking about the Avengers, and I was like, what? You definitely have to suspend your disbelief. Like I don't know if anyone on my channel has read the Shadowhunter series, but there's the first 6 here, and then there's a trilogy here, and then 2 other side collections of short stories. And then this series came after these three here. And this is the first one of that series of 3. And so I read all the books that are on the back here, and they were all like, okay. They didn't blow my mind. I enjoyed them though. These 3, actually, I enjoyed a lot more than the original 6. They're very questionable, but they're very CW vibes. This book, however, I gave 5 stars when I read it. And Shadowhunters are essentially like demon hunters. That's the best way to look at it. And they get these special powers because they're half angel. And then there's like politics going on between the Shadowhunter world, the Downworlders, which are all the other like vampires, werewolves, all those, and then demons, and then there's also fairies, the Seelie Court and the Unseelie Court. And so there's a lot of politics actually, and I was genuinely surprised when I read this book with how much the politics were well crafted. Like I was very intrigued. But the world building itself is not meticulously crafted. Like Shadowhunters are supposed to not want any modern stuff in their world. Like computers are somehow supposed to be banned, but then everyone has phones and everyone's like, I don't know. It is not well established. So you do have to suspend disbelief. But let me tell you, the best part of this entire series is the drama. Oh, the drama. It's a CW show. It's exactly what it is. And there's always some form of like forbidden love aspect. And Claire is very good at changing what that aspect is, but there's always some aspect of that. So there's the tension and like the wanting. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And also in this particular book, there is a family, a big family that has that kind of dynamic that I love. I always talk about it when I talk about Fruits Basket, but that dynamic of like a bunch of different personalities together and then the fun dynamic that creates, that's also in this book. So it just has a lot of things that connect with me. The main character also has a huge fear of the ocean. me right here. It's just a lot of small things where I was like, oh, I see myself in this book, and also I ate it up. So after all of that explanation, what this vlog is me just accepting the CW vibes, just going for it. I mean, clearly I loved it. I read a almost 700-page book in like 2 days. So I'm gonna pick up the second one because I never continued the series, right? That's the other thing I wanted to say. I read the first one and I was just kind of sick of the drama because I had read all the other ones, right? But now after what, a 6-7 year break, I am interested. So they have the second and third one at the library. So I'm gonna go pick those up. And then this little one might get a couple books. Well, you're really just hanging out. Thought you would say more. And then we'll get a couple for this little one as well, because she's also devouring books right now. Love that for her. One other thing I wanted to show is my shirt. Because I got this from my mom. She sent this today and like a little spring package. Okay. And it's a frog and toad shirt. And my mom is like the absolute best at giving gifts, because I didn't know that I wanted a frog and toad shirt, but now that I have it, this brings me so much joy. It's just a comforting shirt. So I'm gonna be wearing this 24/7. But my cough is increasing because I think I'm talking too much. So I just wanted to start this vlog before I return to this and just kind of say what this vlog is gonna be. And because I got sick in the middle of reading this, I wasn't doing like check-ins along the way. But I will be for the second and the third book. So you'll get like updates and all the drama going on. I'll do my best to keep it spoiler free though, because this is like in the middle of the Shadowhunter world, and I don't think a lot of people that watch me have read this. So I'll check in a little bit. Hey there. Forgive the voice, okay? The cold is on its way out of my system, which means that I sound worse before it leaves. You know how like when it's deep in there, you feel like crap, but you can't hear or see it sometimes. And then when it's on its way out, it goes up and out. So I sound awful, but I'm feeling better than I did yesterday when I filmed the intro to this. Also, just finished doing first page chewing back for 2025. We had Philip Chase. He does Dear Dr. Fantasy. He's the author of the Adan trilogy, or The Way of Adan, which is a trilogy, but it's actually being expanded now, which is one of the reasons we had him on. He's been on page chewing multiple times. I've also been on his series on his channel, Dear Dr. Fantasy, as has PL. We also did some deep dive discussions about the Greenbone saga together. He is just an incredibly intelligent, kind gem of a person in this community. So if you don't know who he is, I highly recommend going to check him out. He's much bigger than I am, so if you know me, you probably know him, but you can check out that page chewing or check out his channel, because talking to him this morning was such a reminder of like why I love doing page chewing. We had to take a break because of how busy both PL and I were, but like I was feeling not as motivated to do that series. I think it's one of those things where like you stop doing something that was a habit before, and then getting back into it is the hard part. But once you get back into it, you're like, oh, this is why I do it. You know, like talking to Philip today made me realize, oh, this is why I love doing this. So we're back, baby. We have a very big guest coming up in April. I can't wait to tell you guys about it. But pulling back from that, I wanted to check in with the book that I got from the library yesterday. So number 2 of the Dark Artifices is Lord of Shadows. And I am, where am I? I didn't have that much time to read last night. I think I read the prologue in the first chapter, so I'm on page 22. But I read that very quickly. And I can tell there's drama, okay? I told you Claire is very good at always creating a different type of barrier, but a barrier to make more drama around a relationship not being able to happen. And so the end of the first book set up one of those barriers, and now we're seeing the result of that in the beginning of this, and it's juicy. Okay, it's like I said before, a CW show. I'm loving it. Today I do have a consulting session, and Hayato and I have to go do some insurance stuff at the what's the word I'm looking for, City Hall. I also need to take the clips from the previous vlog and start editing those. But I do plan to do kind of like a Pomodoro timer kind of thing between my consulting session finishing and then Haruto getting out of sushi school and us going to the city hall. I have a couple hours there. And I think I'm going to do a Pomodoro timer setup where I do some reading and then, for those who don't know, it's like 25, well, you can set whatever timer you want, but usually 25 minutes on, 5-minute break. So I'll do like one session with this, and then one session with editing in order to be more productive rather than just, you know, choosing one and doing it. So I think that's my goal for today. And like I said, I fly through these, so I'll be able to check in with you guys soon. Also, as I mentioned before, I am going to try to keep this spoiler free. You know, there's so many books that come before this one that really do have an effect on this. I mean, you could read this without these. You really could. But there's a lot of like cameos and connections from the previous ones that do come to fruition here. So if you had wanted to do that, I don't want to spoil, right, the previous ones. So, but I think I've developed the skill of talking about things spoiler-free pretty well. So, yeah, so I will let you guys know some updates, how I'm feeling as I make my way through this book. But I have a feeling it's going to be a quick and very dramatic read, and I can't wait. I took my morning medicine and it really helped my throat, but I feel like it is not helping my nose. I'm gonna sound like this during my consulting session. I'm really glad this is someone that I have a good relationship with, so they're not gonna sound like first impression, but like, I sound so weird right now. All right, let me go prepare for that. So check in with you guys later. I had some errands to run, so I had a day shopping in Tenjin. This first clip is from Book Off, a secondhand store. And then these next couple clips are from Loft. This is a really good place to go if you're looking for gifts. They have a whole section of made in Japan goods. This is one of them that you see in front of you, and they're seasonal, so this was the spring selection. And this was a little single serving rice cooker. I just thought it was cute, so I grabbed a shot of it. Japan always has these interesting kitchen doodads, so here's a can opening device. And then here, I just thought it'd be cute to show you all the bento selection, the bento box selection. There's tons. Whatever you would like, it's available. And again, here is the spring selection for bentos. I also thought it was interesting they had pre-kintsugi'd pottery. And then here, these last couple shots, I just wanted to show that this is all skincare. This is my favorite vitamin C serum. It is pricey though, so I only use it when my skin is in SOS mode. And this is the current spray that I use. Love this brand, D'Alba. This is Dingo, a famous apple pie shop in the underground mall in Tenjin. They have a lot of seasonal stuff, so they had a cherry blossom special. And this last clip is a toothbrush that claims to have 35,000 bristles. Wild. Evening. I don't know, I think it's been maybe like 2 days since my last check-in. The cold is still leaving my body. Sometimes I feel good, sometimes I don't. Now is an I don't moment. I keep looking over here. The camera's over here, whatever. Anyway, if I'm looking in the wrong place, my apologies. You can kind of hear that my voice isn't the best. Japan is so dry right now. Like, and I'm just a dry girly. I need a lot of moisture on my face and just at all times. I always need to have, like, I'm always drinking something. Like, this dry season is making my cold worse, I think, is my point. It's like 10:30 p.m. right now. Sumire is asleep. She didn't fight me tonight. She went down really well. And I was supposed to be reading earlier, but then I got stuck in my phone, and we're trying to break that cycle again and get back to reading. And I know that once I pick this up, I'm not going to be putting it down. I'm just going to get sucked right in. So I am on page 69. Oh, that's fun. And it's just now kind of getting to the point where like we've reestablished kind of what has occurred since the end of Lady Midnight. 2 weeks passed between the two books. So now we're like moving forward now, essentially. And there were a couple points here where I was like, did I start reading this and just not finish it? Because I don't like remember enough to be like, oh, I definitely read this book. But there was 1 or 2 moments where I was like, I feel there's like a ghost of a memory happening here. So maybe I like started reading this and then I petered out and just never read, like finished it. I don't remember anything that's going to happen right now. Unless this is going to be like another Stormlight Archive experience where as I'm reading I'm like, oh yeah. But I don't think I finished this. Like I would remember if I read it at all, pretty sure. So anyway, we're about to get into like the juicy parts, so I'm excited. Also, just unparalleled floppy paperbacks. As a hardback collector girly, I have to admit this reading experience is superior. You hear that sound even? Oh, heaven, absolute heaven. So I'm gonna go take this makeup off because I feel my skin feels so dry and tight under here. That's one of the worst feelings in the world for me, is when I've had makeup on for a long time and my skin feels dry underneath. Like I said, I'm a dry girly, so it's easy to get that way. I gotta hate it. So I'm gonna wash this off and moisturize the shit out of my face with all my nice skincare. Get myself a ice water and a tea. So I got a hot drink and a cold drink going on, and I'm gonna settle in and try to read for maybe an hour. I'm gonna try to sleep early because I sound awful. So I'm really hoping to nip this in the bud. It doesn't help that I can't really breathe through my nose right now, so I have to like mouth breathe, and that's making the dryness worse. I'm uncomfortable right now and I need to make myself comfortable. Does anyone else do that? Like when I was scrolling on my phone, I'm sitting on the couch, like knowing I need to take my makeup off, knowing I would be more comfortable if I went and got myself like these cozy drinks and did my skincare and sat down with my book, like knowing that, but somehow for some reason putting it off and sitting uncomfortable on the couch, like scrolling my phone. Does anyone else do that? Where they like put off becoming comfortable for no discernible reason? There's no reason that I had to do that for the last 45 minutes. So anyway, I'm gonna go not do that anymore and make myself comfortable. And I will check back in with you guys once I get to some juicy parts, because like I said, I'll do reactions when fun stuff comes up. But something that's in this book is fake dating, and I am a big fan of jealousy when it's done right, and I can see that brewing here, and I'm excited for the messiness that that's gonna bring. So excited. Definitely just looked in the wrong section. I always film with the camera over here, but for some reason I flipped it over here today. So anyway, excited. Not me falling asleep after like 2 pages after that whole spiel I gave you all last night. So it's the next day. It is now around like 3:30, I think, in the afternoon. We had a very busy morning. We did a lot of visa and moving stuff this morning, and I'm so excited to say that we just completed the final step in his visa. So Hayato is officially an immigrant waiting to receive his green card, which is so exciting. It's taken us so long. Hasn't really hit me yet because we've been doing this for so long now, but we're definitely gonna have to go out and celebrate. There have been a lot of kinks in the process for us, and this last step took longer than it should have, but it is completed now. So that is something to celebrate. Right now I'm not feeling the best. The cold is really coming at me. I think because I had such a busy morning. But then we did a lot of scheduling as well, lining out exactly how the last like month and a half, 2 months here are gonna go. We also went for a walk with Sumide to a local bakery, got some really delicious bread, played at the park this morning. Today's a national holiday, so Sumide doesn't have nursery school, and neither of us have work, but Hayato does have like a networking event today, so he's off making them connections. And my in-laws just came over. They want to spend as much time with Sumide as they can before we move. So we're gonna eat dinner together, but until dinner I moved like my computer and everything. I have like one of those lap desk things. I moved everything into this room so I could focus, and I need to do a bunch of like the not fun stuff like looking up solidifying which moving company we're going to use, trying to get Pretzel set up so we can send him overseas. So kind of just looking up those kinds of detail things. And I need to really focus to do that. So I need to do that. I need to update my resume. I need to be looking for US jobs. So I'm just gonna kind of pick a couple of those tasks and do them while I have a couple hours where Sumide's distracted, or not distracted, well, distracted, I suppose, but playing with her grandparents. And also, since I'm not feeling so well, I might take a little bit of a power nap. And then I might do a Pomodoro style here and allow myself to read for one of those sets, one of those 25-minute sets. Because I fell asleep last night, not the fault of the book. Like I said, it's just starting to get juicy and everything, and dramatic, but I was just exhausted yesterday. This cold still has its hooks in me. It's not enough to where I can't like function and do normal things for the day, but it's enough that I get tired easily and things feel harder than they should. So it's like that awful level of sickness, you know? So at night I have been just like exhausted. But yeah, so I'm gonna settle in and do some of my office work, but at least I get to do it in my bed, nice and cozy. I should have gotten myself a tea. I only have water, and you can't just have one drink. You gotta have at least 2 or 3 drinks around you, right? So I might go make myself a cup of tea and then come settle in and do some of this. But if I do find time to read, I'll check in with you guys. Hello everyone, this is more of a Japan life check-in than a reading check-in, but today is Saturday and Sumide often goes to nursery school on Saturday because Hayato still has sushi school, and I used to do some work on Saturdays, but this weekend and next weekend she's not going, so I get my little girl all day today. We're spending the day together. Hayato still has sushi school, so just the 2 of us. It's suddenly absolutely beautiful out. It actually feels like a spring day. It's like 15 degrees Celsius out of nowhere. So that was really nice. We could actually enjoy walking outside. It's been a hot minute since we've been able to do that, so that was wonderful. And now she is sleeping. She's taking a nap. I'm doing the opposite. I am drinking a Red Bull. All of the strawberry flavored stuff is out now. So this is the spring strawberry edition. And it tastes pretty good actually. But as you can hear, this cold just will not leave. I got stuff for chicken salad. I was gonna make it now, but considering I still sound this like gross and my throat is quite dry right now, I think I might actually just sit on the couch and relax for a minute while she's sleeping. All parents know how this goes, right? You have to decide whether to get a bunch of shit done or to also relax during nap time. Like, you can't do both. So now that I've put the groceries away, I think I'm just gonna let myself relax for a little bit. And then when she wakes up this afternoon, we'll go back outside since it's beautiful. Maybe we'll stop by the library. I'm not really sure. Maybe we'll go to the park. And I'm gonna go sit on the couch and read. Oh, so we got some drama. There was someone who claimed to be available and was dating someone in the story here. Turns out they might not be as available as they claimed they were. Oh, not someone coming in and saying, I'm so-and-so's fiance to the person that they're supposedly dating. Juicy. I just lost my page because I had to talk with both my hands. Juicy. How messy. I'm excited to see how this goes. Okay, so there's a little bit of a misunderstanding trope, which is not my favorite in this, but I think it's going to end up that the person who didn't know the other person was engaged is going to not forgive them and they're not going to be together, which is good because I didn't like them together romantically. So I'm kind of happy with this turn of events. I'm glad this drama happened. So even though one of the characters I really like is sad right now, like I'm kind of happy that they're sad because I'm glad that this isn't happening. And I know what I'm shipping. And I think it's gonna happen. Like the situation that I want to see with the person who is just lied to. I think who I'm shipping that person with might happen, which is very exciting. But in order for it to happen, a lot of other messiness and drama has to happen because some other pieces have to shift. So, like, I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm hoping that my guess is right. Like, fingers crossed. Also, something I'm really enjoying about how this is being handled is, I was trying to stay away from any descriptors, but the guy in this situation is the one who lied about being previously engaged and then started dating another character. And in a typical, like, drama-filled, you know, CW type show or book, those two female characters would be pitted against each other. But the one that was lied to said specifically to her friends, it's not that other, it's not the other woman's fault, so don't hate her. And it's reiterated here again, that it isn't the fault of this other, the one that the guy was engaged to, because she didn't know what was going on. And I just like, that's refreshing to me, you know, that those two female characters aren't pitted against each other. Like, we love a girl's girl in this house, we really do, and it's really nice to see that written in a book that's, you know, this old. When was this actually released? I don't even know. Let me see. 2017, yeah. So pretty decently, you know, long enough ago that it would have been not weird if they were pitted against each other or not looked down on, and they're not. And I am loving that. Okay, update. She's a bitch, though. Like, we still love a girl's girl because it wasn't her fault, the whole, like, you know, double timing thing. But also, she's a bitch. And very bigoted. So, love that for her. So, I wouldn't really mind if she got a nice punch in the face, you know? That might be refreshing, actually, at this point. So, plot twist there. You know, something I've been saying a lot recently is people feel way too comfortable being hateful in this current political climate. And there's a quote here that I think just really rings true. Talking about the girl as a bitch. I said that she was bigoted, right? And one of the forms of bigotry in this world is to think that shadow hunters are above other downworlders, other species, right? Above fairies and things like that. And one of the characters is half fairy. And they were in the room when the other character was being bigoted. And afterwards, the half fairy character is talking to another person, about this thing called the cold peace, which is, I don't want to give anything away, but it is a law passed down saying that shadow hunters can't help fairies. And this is like a new recent thing due to previous events that happened in like previous books in the series. So this thing called the cold peace exists now. And the half fairy character says, when a decision like that is made by a government, it emboldens those who are already prejudiced to speak their deepest thoughts of hate. They assume they are simply brave enough to say what everyone really thinks. Rings true. So one of the reasons that I'm loving these books is also that, like, disparate personalities forced to be together thing that I love, you know? That leads to a lot of really humorous situations if written well, and it is written well most of the time here. And there was a moment like that here. It's really hard to describe, and I think without the context of knowing the characters, it's not going to be as funny, but I actually laughed out loud while reading. And that's another thing that's got me addicted to these books right now, because I actually chuckle at multiple points. Don't get me wrong, there are portions where the writing is not the best, or there's plot holes galore, but the human relationship aspect of this is really well written, and it's bringing me such joy right now. I'm loving this. I'm having so much fun. These are some clips from a day trip we took to a small island near us called Shikanoshima. There's nothing we particularly wanted to see, but Sumine likes being in the car, and we thought we'd just go see the ocean for a little while. The Fukuoka Tower usually has some lights going on here, and actually until about maybe 2 weeks ago, they had a festival here. It had a skating rink, and there was like a Christmas event and a Valentine's Day event, and now they've got the trees all pink for cherry blossom season, which is coming up soon. It's absolutely beautiful yesterday and today. It feels like spring suddenly, but it's been extremely cold up until now. So I don't think the cherry blossoms know what to do. So they probably won't be blooming until next week. That should be peak, but I thought the atmosphere was nice. And y'all might like to see it. There they are. Hi, sweetheart. So I'm having a very Japanese breakfast today. I think I mentioned, I don't know if I've mentioned it in this vlog, I've definitely mentioned it before on the channel, but Haizo's in sushi school. It's the last month of school, so we always have a lot of extra raw fish. So this time he took some Thai last night and he sliced it up like sashimi and marinated it in this homemade, what's it called? A sesame sauce that he makes that I love. So he left this for me this morning, and he recommended that I take some of this dashi that he made, this fish stock, put a little bit on top of it to cook it a little bit, and then add a little bit of soy sauce. There's some soy sauce in this little no face here. Then I have miso soup that he made. Sumire had the rest for breakfast, and some rice, some reheated frozen rice. If you're like me from the West and you don't know better and you put your rice in the fridge, stop it. Stop it immediately. Put it in prepackaged portions and put it in the freezer, and it tastes almost like it's fresh. Nothing tastes exactly like fresh rice, but stop putting your shit in the fridge. Just don't do it. All right, now that I'm off my soapbox, let's take some of this dashi. Heated it up just before. I wonder if it's hot enough. I think it is. A little bit of that in there. And it's lukewarm. Probably not as hot as he wanted me to make it. So what I'll do is I'll heat this up a little more. Because I think it's supposed to steam a little bit on top, and it's definitely not hot enough. Okay, now we're cooking. Now we're getting some hot dashi. So I'll take some of that, which is as hot as it should have been in the first place, and put it over top. Do one more scoop. And then I'll add some soy sauce. Doesn't look delicious, but I bet you it's gonna taste good. It was indeed yummy, enough so that I ate a second portion of it. I mean, anything with that sesame sauce that Hayato makes on it is just chef's kiss. So very healthy Japanesey breakfast. I am looking a hot mess today. First off, I am recovering today from the weekend. It was so much fun, but it was so busy. Sumire just had so much energy all weekend. We were constantly going out and doing things, and while it was a fantastic family weekend, I am exhausted today. So, but I have things that I need to do. I don't have consulting work, which is why I can get away with looking like this. But I do have a bunch of research that I need to do for moving. I need to pick a moving company. I need to look up some stuff for Pretzel. I need to look up what size boxes we need to buy. There's just, you know, lots of little things that I just don't have enough information for. I'm also in the process of starting the job hunt for the States, so I'm gonna have to do a couple things for that as well. So what I'm gonna do is caffeinate myself. I'm going to get myself some coffee. I do have an energy drink. I don't know if it's an energy drink kind of day though. I think I might skip that and just go for coffee. So I'm gonna get myself caffeinated in some way, shape, or form, and then I'm gonna do what's been working for me when I'm having these work from home days, where I kind of have to create my own structure, is I'm gonna set up a Pomodoro timer and do the 25-minute set. So I think I'm gonna allow myself to start with a little bit of a reading. reading portion first, so I'm gonna read a little bit of my drama book, Lord of Shadows, because I think I didn't fill you guys in after the last check-in, but when I was reading it, but I really enjoyed reading it during Sumide's nap, but I was just nonstop for the rest of the weekend, so I didn't get any more reading done. So I'm gonna continue with that. I'm very excited because the characters are gonna be going into fairy, and I love that the way Claire writes fairy, so very excited for that. So I'll do reading as my first section, and then I do have to do some editing for thumbnail editing for an exciting page turning episode we have coming up, so I think I'll do that next. And then the next set will be me kind of diving into some of that research that I talked about. So I think that's the way I'm gonna approach today, and we'll see how I do. I'll check in with you guys in a bit. This is going to be a shaky update because I don't have my tripod over here. God, this cold will not leave me alone. Sorry, my voice just sounds god-awful. But I'm reading. And one thing I will say that is not written well is how people like track others in these stories. They're always like supposed to be sneaking to find people, but they're like whispering and talking along the way. I'm like in this particular scene, they're in a cave, and I'm like, well, your voice is going to carry you, dumb fucks. Like, it'd be one thing if they actually face consequences and get caught when they do something like that, but they never do. It's just like a time for Claire to have them, like, you know, do exposition, you know, when they're on their way to somewhere. But it's such a repetitive thing that Claire does all the time that it's bothering me at this point. But the spying that just happened did reveal some juicy things. And then some of my favorite characters from the first book, like the main ones essentially, are in fairy right now. And as I've mentioned before, I love how Claire does fairy. We've got, you know, rivers of blood. We've got very liminal spaces. There's also hints that there's some things going on in fairy that are going to have bigger implications and impacts on the Shadowhunter world. I don't know. I'm really enjoying this. Like, I feel like this is kind of what the second book in Crescent City was supposed to be. Like, the mystery portion of this is actually well done. Whereas the mystery portion of that book, if you've watched my rant review on that book, y'all know how I feel about that. It was not well done whatsoever. So I feel like, and also the balance here is really good. Like, I find myself yearning for those tense interpersonal scenes because there's just enough of like political maneuverings in between to keep those scenes spaced out enough that I'm not sick of them and I want more. Like, the balance is just really masterfully struck there. I'm really enjoying that. And also something else I'm really enjoying about this second book so far is, like, the first book, Lady Midnight, has our main set of characters. And they're still the main characters here. But since they're off in fairy, some of the younger characters who were seen as, like, you know, people that need to be protected in the first book, and we kind of saw them as side characters, they're now getting to come out and become full fleshed out, like, characters in their own right, because we're getting POVs from one of them, and I'm just really liking the slow expansion of the characters that we care about. It's very smooth and very well done. Like, this is a good book. I don't want to stop reading it. I'm gonna have to because I gotta do other stuff today, but like, I could comfortably sit and read this for several hours, and I missed that feeling. All right, it is the next day. I meant to film a couple more updates yesterday, just kind of between me doing like little caffeine breaks and checking in with the progress I was making during the day. But I got kind of sucked into the work aspect, and that's not as fun for you guys. Like, looking up reptile export brokers is not something y'all are interested in. So I ended up not checking in after a little while yesterday, but I did read a ton. I think I read like 120, 130 pages yesterday, and I have now settled down to read for a little bit today. It is now, what is it? I think it's like 1-ish. This morning I went to the gym, and super exciting. It wasn't that busy, so I finally had enough like space to figure out the trial and error for setting up my hip thrusts. Because if you don't go to the gym, this is going to sound really niche and specific, but in order to set up hip thrusts, you need enough room to set up the barbell, and you also need a bench to put your back against. And the gym that I go to, which isn't surprising for Japan, doesn't have like a lot of free weight space. So the best thing to do is to set up in the squat rack if you can. But the length of the bench is just long enough that like I couldn't fit in the squat rack with the bench and put my back on it, as well as like, and be in the right position to lift up the barbell. So I finally figured something out today because I had enough, like I said, space for trial and error, and I'm so excited now that I can do hip thrusts. I've been wanting to figure that out for ages. So that was a win this morning. I'm going to pay for those tomorrow. My legs are going to be little Bambi legs, but it felt amazing. So anyway, I went to the gym this morning, and then I came back and had a private lesson. So I did that. And Hayato's parents just came with a Costco haul. That's a big deal here, okay? Because Costco has raspberries, and those are my favorite things in the entire world. And they brought 2 packets of raspberries, and Sumire loves them too. So we're both gonna just blow through those 2 packets, I'm sure. So now I'm settling in to read for a bit. I am on page 411, I believe. And the book is 650? Am I making that up? I'm over halfway at this point. I am just full steam ahead right now with the story. I'm obsessed with it. It's definitely not a perfect book, and something that is starting to bother me is like the convenience of the small info dumps. I will say that Claire does a good job of keeping the info dumps short enough that they don't feel exhaustive to read, but the scenarios in which they happen are so contrived and way too convenient sometimes, oftentimes. Like, our 2 main characters were looking for this other character, right? And this person could be anywhere in the world is the idea. And then the first place they go to look, this other character just like shows up there. And like throws a rock at a window to get the attention of them. Like that is way too convenient. And then the conversation that happens between this character, the 2 characters when they meet, I'm like, y'all have no business talking about this stuff. Like, this is not how this conversation would go. It feels very forced in order to give me information. So that is starting to get a little bit annoying at this point. But with the CW vibes and the drama, sheesh, I'm eating this up. Another character just got injured. I mean, this other character realized some things, although in this case, not in a romantic sense. But in like a familial sense. Anyway, people are realizing things because other people got injured. Like, I'm so here for those vibes and that messy drama. So I do have some emails to answer and some work to do today before the end of work hours, because I have a couple moving emails I need to answer. But when it comes to actually moving forward with stuff today, I need to talk to Hayato first and touch base with him, and he won't be home until like 6 or 6:30. And I'm picking Sumire up at 5 or 5:30 from her nursery school. So I'm just gonna sit down and block out a couple hours here and just read and enjoy myself. So I'll check back in with you guys once some drama happens. Okay, so I've read about 80 pages. Here's where we are right now. I am flying through this to no one's surprise. And that relationship dynamic that I was hoping for, I think it's happening, and I'm so excited. And the slow burn aspect of it is making this payoff so good. It's just creeping towards this end goal, and oh, I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it. But this isn't like the main relationship. It's a side one, but one that I'm very, very much invested in. The main one is being teased, very, very teased right now. Again, I'm not going to say names or describe certain situations because I don't want this to be a spoiler for anyone. But that balance between giving you those scenes with the tension and then scenes that don't have that in between, again, that balance is so well struck, and I am like starving for one of those scenes. And I think I'm about to get it. We have 4 different points of view going on right now, and we just returned to that point of view, and I'm like, oh, this might be the moment. I feel like the timing, it's just about now when we're gonna get something like that. So I am just like kicking my feet excited. Something else I really enjoy about this book is kind of similar to the way that K-dramas make me feel. Hear me out, okay? But Claire does a really good job of romanticizing the mundane, the way that just a cotton t-shirt can look like on someone, the joy of doing small things with those you love, the ease that comes with being able to joke with someone without any disclaimers. Like, she captures those moments really well, and I find that K-dramas do the same thing for me when it comes to like the audio and visual aspect of life. So they'll really romanticize the sound of cooking or of clothes rustling when you're folding them. And after watching a K-drama that's really well shot, I find that I romanticize those small moments in my life as well and find more joy in them. And I'm finding that this book is doing the same thing for me when it comes to those small things. So it's like different small things at a K-drama, but it's the same feeling. It's a very nebulous thing to describe, so I don't think I'm doing the best job, but that's something else I'm really enjoying about this. I have about a half hour before I'm gonna go pick Sumire up, so I'm gonna see how much of this I can read, at least this chapter, because this is the chapter I think I've been waiting for. And then I'm gonna go pick her up, and it's a beautiful day. It actually feels like spring outside today, so we'll probably play a little bit at the park on the way home, and then I have to do, bedtime routine, all of that. Hopefully will be home in time to help with that tonight. We'll see. But I'm hoping this isn't the last half hour I get to read today, because I could definitely finish this book today if I was given enough time. So we'll see what kind of damage I can do. Is there anything better than a spring breeze, a good book, and a plate piled high with raspberries? I don't think so. Hello. That was so dumb. I've been playing with ways to make my check-ins more interesting. I don't think that's the one though. Hello everyone. So just a quick check-in here. I believe in my most recent update yesterday, I talked about how things were really ramping up in this book, and I am now, apparently I've forgotten to put my bookmark in again, so love that for me, but I am probably around here now. No, I'm past page 500. I'm probably around here, around 550-ish. So I did not get to finish yesterday because if you can't hear, my voice sounds really weird. I had to go to the dentist and get some work done. I'm still struggling with it. I seem to have developed a bit of a resistance to Novocaine over the years, and it's just, there's always a level of pain that no amount of shots seem to be able to take away. So I'm still dealing with that. It's still swollen. Even my eye is swollen. This whole side of my face is very upset because of the amount of times he had to stab my gums to try to numb me enough to do what he needed to do. And then in the end, it wasn't numbed enough. So it's very much a chicken or the egg situation. I got a lot of anxiety for the dentist, and it could have started with the Novocaine, but high adrenaline apparently makes Novocaine wear off quicker. So it's an ugly situation. I hate the dentist. Not my dentist's fault. He is very quick, very efficient, did what he needed to do. But the point is, when I came home yesterday, I did nothing but just die on the couch for a little while. But I did read more before bed. And the romance dynamic that I was hoping for, I think it's coming to fruition. I'm here for it, very much here for it. And then that scene that I was looking forward to did not happen in the chapter it was going to happen in. I thought it was going to happen in, but it did happen. And this book is a bit bloated though. I have about 150 pages left, and it does not need to be this long. There are certain plot points where I'm like, come on now. We don't need to be sitting on this for as long as we are. So this is a bit bloated. It has middle book syndrome. God, it's so hard to speak with my mouth being like this. But the things that I love it for, the drama, the romance, the CW vibes are very much still there. I'm absolutely going to read the third book. I already got it from the library. So we have a couple people coming over today, so I don't know if I'll finish today. But I do plan to finish this within the next probably 48 hours, and then we will move on to book number 3. But I'll be sure to check in with you guys before we move on to book 3 and let you guys know how I think it was wrapped up and all of that. This was my first Sakura festival of the season. We went to Maizuru Park. It was just before peak bloom, but still absolutely gorgeous and absolutely freezing. It was just Sumire and I on this first trip. All the tents and little picnic areas that you see are people doing hanami, which literally means viewing the blossoms. And people come out during Sakura season to enjoy the flowers, eat and drink, and be merry, essentially. Some of my best memories of living in Japan are from hanami. シュシュポポ来た。ね。Okay, so it is Saturday, and Sumire and I just got back from going to the Cherry Blossom Festival. Originally, they were predicted to be full bloom next weekend, but this past week was so warm that a lot of them bloomed ahead of time. They're not full bloom yet. Well, some areas are full bloom and some aren't. So I do think that people that had plans next week, hello, me and my friends, will still have some to look at, but I didn't want to miss it. And this morning, actually, Sumire graduated from her first year in nursery school, going up to the next year. And then Hayato actually graduated today from sushi school. So he is out partying with all of his other fellow graduates, now alumni. And he'll be out probably until late. So Sumire and I went by ourselves after her nap today. And both of us are just exhausted. Every year, cherry blossom season is colder than people expect it'll be, but it's still like a jump scare for everyone, including myself every year. Because it's like, oh, spring, flowers, it's going to be so nice. And then it's fucking freezing. So did dress appropriately this time, but it's too cold to like sit and really enjoy yourself, really. For those of you who don't know, there's a whole culture around viewing cherry blossoms. It's called hanami, which literally means see the flowers. And people like set out a picnic basket and just like drink and hang out with their friends and underneath the cherry blossom trees. It is one of the best parts of Japanese culture. I love it, but it's so liminal because, I mean, you can do it before and after full bloom, but the peak is obviously when you want to do it. So there's a lot of places you can reserve or you can just show up and hope to find a spot. So in the clips that I showed either before this or that I'll be showing while I'm talking or after this or whatever, anyway, in the clips that I took, you'll see people doing that. And so we have plans next week with friends to do our last hanami before we leave. And I think it's actually going to be a Saturday while Sumire is going to be at nursery school for a little bit. So we'll probably do part of it and be able to like relax without the little one and then go pick her up and probably bring her and finish out the picnic, the party. But both of us are completely tuckered out. That place that we went, though, does have a nighttime light up part of the festival. So after 6 p.m. you have to pay to go into like the castle area. I think there's a portion of it. I did take a couple clips from that area, but it like gets blocked off and lit up at night. And they have like shows and like events. I think there was this, I think I caught the stage in one of the clips that I took. So there's like, you know, a whole other nightlife aspect to it as well. And I've gone there more than once at night and it is very nice. The light up is beautiful. I've got some gorgeous pictures from years past. But either way, we're at least going one more time and actually having a hanami with friends. So I will be able to get some clips then as well. But yeah, the flowers were stunning today. Sumire learned the word sakura. And was like pointing them out to me. She loved it, so worth it, but I am exhausted and so is she. She's just sitting here eating a onigiri and watching Sesame Street because both of us are like with what energy wear. So we're gonna take a bath, read a little bookie book, and go to bed for her. And I did some really good editing finally for the vlog before this one today. And I think I might be able to finish it tonight. Possibly. I have to decide between that and finishing my book for this vlog. Do I finish the old one or do I read the content for this one? The eternal battle of a booktube channel. Hello, minna. Hello. 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 Here are clips from the second Sakura festival we went to. It is the same location, but it's a very big area, so we went to different areas of the park. Those pink ones are called Shirare Sakura, and they are a different type from the more white ones that you've seen in other clips. It was still freezing, but they were in full bloom, and it was stunning. Here we are leaving Maizuru and entering Ohori Park, which has a huge lake in the middle. There are a lot of events at this park, and it's one of my favorite places in Fukuoka. There was always this one guy who very quietly practiced his trumpet. I'll really miss those little details. Don't mind my desk is chaos from the workday, but I just finished Lord of Shadows. I just wiped tears from my eyes. Keeping it spoiler free is really hard right now, like being able to express what's upset me and keep it spoiler free is really hard. So there was like a titular moment where things were really balanced on the edge of a knife and everything had to like go right because one thing depended on the other thing, depended on the other thing. And absolutely none of it went right. And it resulted in someone dying that crushed me. I don't think I can say anything more than that without giving anything away, but I feel like I'm gonna cry again. Clearly, I am emotionally invested in this. I want to talk more about it, but considering I can't without spoilers, I think I'm just gonna leave this check-in here and just say I'm emotionally devastated. And I'm kind of terrified of the third book. What is it? Queen of Air and Darkness? So I'll come back for one more check-in when I've gathered my thoughts and I'm not like an emotional mess, probably tomorrow. I'll kind of give you my overall thoughts, but yeah. Okay, hello. I have taken the night to process my thoughts about Lord of Shadows. Let me get that. It's right here. Here we go. I have taken the night to process my thoughts, and is it a perfect book? Absolutely not. I think I mentioned in earlier check-ins that Claire's way of doing mini info dumps and kind of getting characters where they need to be is a bit too transparent for my liking. It's a bit too obvious, and sometimes it's a bit forced. Like, this character doesn't make any sense for them to be here, but they need to be here for the plot to move forward, therefore they're here. Like, that kind of thing. The other main criticism that I have about this is that it was a bit bloated. We did not need to spend as much time as we did at certain plot points. And because it's kind of bloated, it led to repetition, even of characterization, which is Claire's admittedly biggest strength. There were just a couple points where in the second half of the book where I'm like, yeah, I already know this about this character. Like, you don't need to tell me this again. I'm well aware of it. So I think that's just the nature of this book being longer than it needed to be. But when it comes to overall character work and like the politics of this world and the way that Fairy interacts with the world of the Shadowhunters, I'm in, baby. I mean, you saw my emotions last night. I'm still quite restricted with what I can say without going into spoilers, just as I was in my previous check-in, so I don't think I can tell you much more than that. But I will say that this isn't like the best well-plotted story I've ever read, but it is addictive, man. I'm so ready to dive back into this world. So I do have Queen of Air and Darkness already from the library. It's actually in my bedroom, so I'm not going to go get it right now, but I am going to dive into that. I do have to read another shorter book before diving into that in preparation for my page tuning that's coming up. We have a very exciting page tuning in a couple days, and I want to finish a book for that. And I'm also reading the audiobook before Death of the Author, which is for the Only a Good Book Club. But that's via audio, and I have, I think, 3 days to finish that, so that won't be a problem. But yeah, the next physical book is definitely Queen of Air and Darkness. And I did think that this was going to be my last check-in for this vlog, but a little bit of some bonus content here. Hayato and I have been wanting to get a little tattoo before we leave Japan in honor of Sumire. And today the stars have aligned. Neither of us have work tonight. We've got childcare. And I called the tattoo studio and the artist that we wanted to go to, and he's available for walk-ins tonight. So we're gonna get a little mini tattoo. I'm at the point now where, like, if something's cute, I'll just put it on me. But this one actually does have meaning. So the first kids book that Sumire ever really fell completely in love with is this one. It's called Puchi Puchi, and it's the story of this little edamame popping out of its little seed pod and going on an adventure with like a little bee. And it's absolutely adorable. And it's told completely through onomatopoeia. And so at the end, it has like a little collection of all the different versions of the little pea. And so Hayato's gonna get this one. And I'm gonna get this one here of him like walking. Just as a memory of being in Japan and raising our daughter for the first 2 years of her life here, and this adorable little story that she fell in love with. So before I went back to work and she went to nursery school, we used to go to these like local events at, you know, what's it called? Community center, local community center. And they would let you borrow books, like using your library card through them. And we borrowed this, and she was just obsessed with it. And then Hayato found it online, and the rest is history, and she's loved it ever since. So it's just a cute little homage to that, and I'm very excited. I think we're gonna get it on our ankles. Well, he's definitely getting it on his ankle. I'm still deciding, but it feels like an ankle placement tattoo. I don't know why. I don't know if anyone else who gets tattoos feels that way, but sometimes particular tattoos just feel like they belong on a particular portion of your body, and you can't really explain it. So feeling like ankle placement. So yeah, so we're excited to go get that done, and we're gonna go get some dinner afterwards. It's gonna be a good night. So that will be the last thing I show you guys. I'll, you know, ask the artist if he's okay with me videoing a little bit of it. You know, it's a teeny tiny little thing, so it'll probably take an hour and a half for both of us. But yeah, I'll try to grab a couple shots of that and of dinner, and then I'll film my final check-in, whatever, with you guys. This was our last Hanami in Japan with our friends. That's our picnic blanket there. We miss them terribly, but this was a beautiful day. Alright, this seems to be becoming a pattern, but I got to the end of this vlog, editing this vlog, and I realized I hadn't filmed an outro for you all. And I'm pretty sure I didn't film an outro to the next one that I'm going to edit as well, because both of them were taken in the chaos of me leaving Japan. So I didn't have that much time to sit down and do a talking head video, like check-in like this. The experience of reading Lord of Shadows that I captured in this vlog was the last real sit-down reading experience I had until I moved. It was clearly what I really needed in the moment, but then shortly after that, the moving preparations really picked up, and then shortly after that I tore my meniscus in the middle of those preparations. And while being sofa bound might seem like I would have had more time to sit down and film something like this, I was doing everything I could from the couch. So the next two vlogs have some really good content still. Before I tore my meniscus, we had some goodbye parties. I did an at-home sushi omakase style thing. We had a very exciting surprise guest from the booktube world who came to see us in Fukuoka before we moved, and I got some footage with them as well. So there's a lot of really good footage coming up in the next vlog, but it's not going to be as book focused as this one was. I hope you enjoyed the cherry blossoms. One of the big benefits of being on a kind of off-kilter schedule at the time that they bloomed was that we could go in the middle of the week, truly during peak bloom, where we didn't have that option. We were both working full-time. So it was just one of the most stunning display of cherry blossoms that I've seen. And I had so much fun going multiple times before we moved. And I'm really glad that I was able to take you guys along for parts of that. Obviously, this check-in is from my US setup, if you've seen my most recent kind of life update sit-down video that I did. So this is obviously a retrospective editing experience for me. I wasn't really ready to sit down with all of these clips. I missed Japan terribly, and it just wasn't something I was ready to handle. But now I feel like I'm in a place where I can little by little. So you will be getting those vlogs in the next couple months, hopefully the next month. I'm hoping to get them done, but we'll see. But I will also be filming sit-down videos in this setup. So the next couple vlogs will be more retrospective and Japan life focused, and then I'll start filming vlogs more in the present time. But my sit-down videos will be here, present, my current reading. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell. Love to have you as part of this community, and I appreciate it. But for now, I'm gonna head out. Jane!